Site of one of the most anticipated matchups in 2024 here in USL Championship. It's Louisville City FC against Sacramento Republic, two teams who made their respective conference finals last year and have higher hopes this year. Happy to have you along for the ride here on ESPN, along with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, schedule came out last December for this season. You circled this one, you counted down the days, and it's finally here.
It's about leadership for me and where the success comes from. These are two of the best managers in the USL Championship, and statistically, over the past 5 seasons, 2 of the top 8 when it comes to best winning percentage overall. Danny Cruz and Louisville City start that conversation here for us tonight. Why? It's the way that they play the beautiful game. They put the ball on the deck, they spread it side to side, they're defensively stout, but attacking-wise, they're an absolute juggernaut. Danny Cruz talks about them having a championship mentality, that no matter the circumstance, they're going to find a way to get a result. Well, that's not just within the conversation of a best season overall for Louisville City. If this trend continues for them, we are talking about, guys, you got to go. Just follow me. So when I say if this trend continues, we're going. We don't need all 30 seconds. All good. When I say something like, if this trend continues, so when I say if this trend continues, go ahead and follow there. When we're on SAC, I'm going to immediately get into why they're successful on the road. And then I will say something along the lines of, what's more impressive to me is that they've been able to do it without. So when I say what's very impressive about this, what's more impressive to me, what's impressive overall, whenever I say something along those lines, go ahead and pop that graphic. Cool.
I'm taking the history graphic and leading him into SAC. So you won't hear Devin again on the history graphic. I will take him to the first SAC video from that graphic. He's talking over at the start, but then once I pick it up, he's not getting it back. I'm leading him to SAC then. We are a little over 3 months away from the USL Championship final, and tonight could serve as a little bit of a preview. MVP candidate Wilson Harris leads the way for first place Louisville City FC, spearheading an attack currently on a historic pace. Meanwhile, second place Sacramento Republic have a chance to extend their road unbeaten run to 12 matches tonight, and it's Huddersfield loanee Kieran Phillips leading the way. It's Sacramento and Louisville. It's the USL on ESPN. Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky is the site for a match that people have been waiting for here in 2024. It's Louisville City FC against the Sacramento Republic, two teams who made their respective conference finals last year, who have title aspirations this year. Happy to have you along on ESPN with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, again, schedule came out last December. You circled it in red. The day is finally here.
And to me, it's about leadership and how they find success within that conversation. And you're looking at two of the best in the business right now in the USL Championship. But stats will tell you a very similar story, removing opinion. Two of the best 8 winning percentages in the USL Championship over the past 5 seasons. The conversation starts with Louisville City tonight. How do they get there? They have such an ebb and flow, a graceful presence about themselves. Side to side, vertical threat, defensively stout, that are putting up incredible numbers in this conversation in the USL Championship at 2024. But if this trend continues, you're not looking at an all-timer for you, Louisville City. You're looking at one of the best teams that might ever be in USL Championship history, having an opportunity to shatter 5, if not 7, of some of the best records that have ever graced our presence in the USL Championship.
And as they stand right now, it's 13 games remaining, including this one here tonight. So they very well have a chance to take all of these down. Going to be difficult, though, tonight against Sacramento, who could take down a record of their own. This could be 12 in a row unbeaten, tying a league mark.
Danny Cruz for Louisville City says that they have a championship mentality, that no matter the circumstance, they're going to find a way to win. Sacramento Republic have that on the road. The problem is they've struggled at home. The good news is they've always been up for it. The environment, the opposition, the challenge, as they say, so much so that they're on an 11-game unbeaten streak dating back to the fall of 2023. A win or a draw tonight ties the all-time USL Championship record set by 2 teams, which is 12 games overall. But what's more impressive to me about that, Joe, is that they've done it without some of the biggest names on their roster. Russell Cicerone on the attacking side, their captain Roro Lopez defensively. They've had to struggle all season long, all over the pitch, and still found a way to get results away from home.
See if they can get another result away from home tonight. Louisville City and Danny Cruz believe they owe Sacramento one tonight. When these teams met last year out in the Bay Area, it was Sacramento 5, Louisville nothing. Revenge on the mind of the boys in purple tonight. It's Louisville City FC and Sacramento Republic next on ESPN. Teams are just about set to get this one going here at Lynn Family Stadium, one that will go a long way in deciding some races at the top of the Eastern and Western Conferences. Look at the starting 11s now for both. Two loaded sides here, Devin, but still missing some pieces either way.
74 minutes for Kyle Adams, who hadn't played in almost 45 days. He was very impressive, but as they move forward here, an incredible front line led by Wilson Harris. This is about the attack for Louisville City tonight, how good they can be transitionally, making you feel uncomfortable. Wilson Harris, 12 goals, third in the USL Championship. They've got 14 different goal scorers. They've got 12 guys with at least 2 goals and 6 players in the top 50 when it comes to goals scored in this league. Mark Briggs and Sacramento Republic, they've had to make 2 changes. So this is about the defensive structure to find success, spearheaded by Danny Vitiello in goal. Top 5 in his first 5 seasons when it comes to total shutouts. 10 shutouts on the season. That leads the league. But 17-year-old Chibi Ukebu has got a big task in front of him tonight. He was clean coming off the bench against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but a very different conversation matched up against Aiden McFadden. I look forward here. In order for them to find success in the final third, it starts from the backside of things. 9 wins this season, 7 by way of shutout.
Danny Vitiello on his way again to maybe a Golden Glove and Goalkeeper of the Year in USL Championship. Wilson Harris leading the way with a dozen goals for Louisville. He's on the brink of a career high 15. Lights have come on. Game is set to begin. Danny Vitiello going to hear it from fans at either end all night long. Another strong crowd here at Lynn Family Stadium. Damian Lassa on the other side has taken that starting spot for Louisville this season and ran with it. They had some questions in years past in goal, and there is the young Chibi Ukebu, who made his USL Championship debut off the bench last week. Out of necessity, he gets called upon for the start here tonight. Sean Tosh, very different on the other end, his opposing center back, one of the leaders in USL Championship all time in minutes played. And we're underway. Sacramento left to right in the white, Louisville right to left in the purple. Alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us. It's once again the USL on ESPN. Kerr's first service takes a deflection. That's up for the first corner of the night on the Sacramento side. He'll be active up and down that right side. Jack Kerr, second on the team in chances created this season. Led all defenders in goal contributions in USL Championship last season. Portillo will take command of this corner. Acquired in June, and a move with Tulsa has helped lock things down in the midfield for Sacramento. Portillo delivers. Loose in front, and Ukebu had a chance at it. Caught him by surprise.
Joe, you take a look at the 2 teams tonight and how they can find success. I think my question about Louisville City is going to be how much intensity they're willing to bring to this match. Obviously, they're at home, certainly one of the best records at home that we've seen in the USL Championship this season. Could be historically all-time as well. And Danny Cruz says, we're going to focus on that intensity and embrace it. But one of the things that comes with intensity is emotion, and you can start to open yourself up. He was very clear about the fact they did not want to do that. Sacramento Republic lives and dies by their ability to play this game transitionally. If you're Lou City and you open yourself up too much, you expose yourself to what could be those transitional moments and success for Sacramento Republic going forward.
Here's Christian Pirano going forward. Phillips. Pirano continues to run. Advantage was played. Phillips goes down. A bit of a challenge from behind by Elijah Winder, but a clean one. Young player, 21 years of age, Elijah Winder, has taken on a massive role for Louisville this season. 21st start tonight, has 5 goals to go with an assist. Really started growing into his own last year. Forced to step up and away for the club last year, riddled with injuries. And he is one of the players Danny Cruz is most proud of it here in 2024. On the right side, it's Aiden McFadden, has some options. Little tackle put in by Alder Sanchez. We saw the first corner for Sacramento at the other end, and now Louisville gets one. I hope this is a sign of things to come. Back and forth, 3 minutes in. slow has been an issue for Sacramento this season, more at home than on the road. Louisville trying for a fast start at home in front of their fans, where they're 9-1 this season. Davila swings it in over everybody. Danny Cruz, the leading man in the technical area for Lou City, looking on as this one goes long, and Damian Las has to come out for a diving header away. Here's Ukebu. Is comfortable on the ball, and his defensive responsibilities coming on last week.
I thought he did very well for himself. Clean on it, positionally. When he had to move into space, either positive or negative, always anticipating at the right moment. You know, the one asterisk that I would give about the performance, and it's nitpicky, you know, he's only 17 years old, is everything was on the right foot. Talked to Mark Briggs about that, you know, we certainly need him to open up a little bit more, have more confidence moving onto that left side of his body, using his left foot to get out to the width. He did play a little bit more into the interior, but throughout all of that, very clean on the ball, didn't give anything away, and won some quality tackles at that.
We asked Danny Cruz if it was something that Louisville would attack specifically, that left side of the back line with Ukebu, and he said this could go one of two ways. Either this stadium and the environment forces him to shrivel up, or it forces him to raise his game to an even higher level, and he fits right in and just hits the ground running. And 5 minutes in, too early to tell, but we'll find out soon enough with the way Louisville likes to press and get after it, what Ukebu is going to do in this situation.
Some managers will chase that, Joe. They'll say, we are going to target this young man, regardless of what his performance looked like. Let's chase him for 15, 20 minutes and see if there's any mistakes in that bag. Half the guys aren't even well aware of what they were going to face.
Wilson.
Said that he looked good in preseason from Ukebu. Albeit like a little kid, doesn't look young anymore. It's the reason that man right there, Mark Briggs, in his 5th year at the helm of Sacramento Republic, has entrusted him on that back line. To be fair, walking wounded on the defensive front. We gave you 5 names in the open of players they are currently without the services of, and 2 of which directly report onto that back 3. And they've reached the point in time, 60–70% into the season, where, God forbid anything did happen further in the defensive conversation. Now you're looking at pulling players out of the midfield, guys that are not accustomed whatsoever to playing on that back line. And the hopes is their current unbeaten form that has been 11 games dating back to 2023 continues.
Ukebu again, called in action.
Kind of fun, by the way, that we got Chimmy Ukebu, 17-year-old, and then the advancement of Jansen Wilson out of that wingback position up onto the front line. If this trend continues, and I would imagine, given the conversations we have, that it will, that could be the future for Lou City.
Toronto unable to connect. Coming through, it was Luis Felipe. This is what it looked like last week for Sacramento, where they would get there, and then it was out of sorts. There were times where Eric Dick, the Pittsburgh goalkeeper, in their 1-0 victory, made a few big saves, but just a lot of opportunities left on the table from Sacramento. The word Mark Briggs used was static at times. Now it's quickly in transition the other way. Wilson Harris cutting. Harris! 13 on the season! He's their leading man for a reason, and Louisville leads!
Now, we told you coming in that success for Louisville City is based on the attacking front and their ability to be vertical overall. It's about pace and tempo and how quickly they go from A to Z. showcase none better than the distribution coming off the back line by Arturo Ordonez. What he's trying to do here is break that first line of pressure. You find the diagonal and then you adjust accordingly going forward. You don't know where the secondary run is going to come from, and that's why Wilson Harris stays up high on the left. After the ball comes through the midfield, he holds himself up high on the left to allow himself space to get it onto this favored right foot. That little cutback right there is everything against Connor Donovan. Donovan's hips as a center back. He's trying to push him down into the channel. Wilson Harris, beautiful vision, placement in the early lead for Lou City.
A lot of credit has to be given, of course, to Nick Marcanic, who's the leading goal scorer in the league with Charleston up over 20. But it's starting to feel for Wilson Harris a lot like it did last year for the Golden Boot winner in Milan Olaski for Orange County, who's now moved on to Europe, where every time he touches the ball, there is an opportunity to score for the club. And on his first opportunity tonight, Wilson Harris gets it done. And those slow starts continue for Sacramento. They've mostly been an issue at home. Mark Briggs can't put his finger on it. We asked him directly this week why, and it's something that, again, he just still can't figure out. They're starting quickly on the road. They're starting sluggish at home, but that sluggish start from the home form carried over to the road form tonight, and Sacramento's going to have to battle back, which is not something they've done well with this year. 0-4-1 when conceding first, Sacramento. They do not have a single come from behind victory in 2024.
It's not often, by the way, that you get in the same conversation a Jack Gurr, a Justin Portillo, and a Luis Felipe not tracking defensively in that situation. On the great ball of over the top by Arturo Ordonez, but centrally just an acreage of space for the home squad to step into and open up the account on the night.
The yellow gives it away. These teams met here 2 years ago. It was a 3-1 win for Louisville, but a little bit of an asterisk. That was 4 days before Sacramento played in the U.S. Open Cup final, so they rotated everybody. It was essentially a B squad. And then last year, it was 5-0 Sacramento out in Sacramento over Louisville. So these two teams have beaten up on each other in their two previous head-to-head meetings, with the home side always coming out on top. This is the first time they've really met strength on strength. Yes, those players missing for Sacramento, but still a representative starting 11.
Lou City likes to start fast. 21 first half goals in 22 games this season. Only their friendly foe just below them in the table, Charleston Battery, have scored more in the USL Championship with 22, and it doesn't bode well for Sac Republic, who, as you alluded to, their slow starts at home hasn't been the same on the road. They don't concede early, they don't concede often, and they failed to win the last 5 matches when giving up the opening goal.
Driven in front off the heel of Serrano. Wilson Harris tried to force his way in. Two of the more underrated acquisitions around USL Championship this year might be the two wingbacks starting tonight for Louisville. You got Jake Morris on one side, 4 goals and 4 assists from that position. Aiden McFadden on the opposite side, 2 goals and 3 assists. Now, when you have a team who's bordering on the pace for the all-time goals record in a single season, you're going to have goal contributions from everywhere, but those two as the wingbacks have really stepped up. Morris gets beaten defensively, though, here. It's Gurr loading one in. Over the head of Nick Ross. Portillo keeps it alive. Good step to win it back. Jared Timmer off the back line, and a free kick coming for Sacramento.
Great pressure up through the middle. A repress by Jared Timmer. And tons of aggression defensively that The rate of rapidity coming off the back line, as we already saw in the opening goal for Louisville City. Have to apply it. You cannot allow them space and time to quickly step off that back line. Well done by Kebu, Donovan, and Timmer. Create that high line of pressure.
Portillo to the end line, knocked back. Ross, his first touch takes him away from goal. Chance at a service here. Maybe there in a white jersey. Davila wants to go, but his pocket pick from behind. Yellow, the backstop for Sacramento. And last year's goalkeeper of the year in USL Championship, multiple-time Golden Glove winner. Came into the night leading the way in the league with a .63 goals against average. Always tough to beat him. Louisville managed to do so just 8 minutes in.
Do that math all by yourself?
Got a little help from my friend Cal, curator.
That's good. Put a kid in your hands. As long as you're not bothering the USL HQ guru of Nicholas Murray, we're good.
Quarter of an hour in, Louisville out with the lead. Of all those records we showed you at the top for Louisville that they could take down this year, total wins, total points, points per game, goals, home wins, the most reachable and attainable might be home wins. They have ample opportunity to do so on a night that they could, with the lead, get their 10th home win. They would have 6 games remaining. All they would need is 3 more to tie. Jack Gurr trying to put a dash in those hopes. Again to Gurr, good ball in, back post. Very alert goalkeeping by Damian Loss. How many times did we see that go in because the goalkeeper is flat-footed expecting a touch? Loss was all over it.
Kind of interesting every single season for Louisville City. The goalkeeping position. It's not necessarily round robin, but certainly not a spot that is solidified in terms of tenure. Greg Granjetsing from 2015 to 2018. Chris Hubbard was involved in that mix as well. What a touch by Winder.
Has some options. Winder, edge of the area. Great first touch brought in by Jensen Wilson. Some contact there. Still loose though, and it deflects wide. Louisville wants a penalty. They felt that Jensen Wilson was brought down. Instead, the call goes against Louisville the other way.
Another beautiful ball coming off the back line for Louisville City, albeit one in a 50-50 situation. But the aggression that you get out of Winder coming out of the midfield, recognizing that he doesn't get the first touch right, but that acceleration to get out in front of Luis Felipe. I tell you, it's a difficult one. I initially thought real time that there's a tackle in from behind. That actually looks like there's a bit of position established over the shoulder just in front of Jensen Wilson. There is a step in front. It's not in a shooting motion, and the foot itself slides up on the backside of him. I think it's well done by the refereeing crew.
The only thing I couldn't figure out from that situation, though, is how it ended up as a foul against Louisville at the end of it. I'm with you. No penalty for me either. Sacramento coming off the 1-0 loss against Pittsburgh last week. They have not lost back-to-back league matches since August of last year. He's done well bouncing back. Louisville looking to keep its streak going. This would be 4 straight wins. The 4th time this year. Or it is the 4th time this year, rather, that they've had a win streak of 3 games or more. When they click, they click. It's always a roadblock here or there that very briefly gets them out of their stride, but it's a tough team to stop when they are going, and they are going right now. Kyle Adams, a good step. Sean Tosh down the line. The only real blip on the radar result for Louisville, as of late at least, is a 4-0 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt they had here in a friendly a couple of weeks back. Santos recovers and wins it. That friendly was an eye-opener for Danny Cruz. That first half as Weiner's brought down, and Felipe will pick up a yellow. That first half against Eintracht Frankfurt in that friendly, Louisville played its top guys, and they hung with Eintracht Frankfurt. Because when the backups came in late, they lost 4-0. But it gave them the confidence they needed to push through this difficult stretch now.
Let's go back to the first one on the other end. Well done by Santos. Positional dominance established once again, similar to what we saw on the opposite end. Luis Felipe can say early on, both he and Justin Portillo having a little bit of trouble with the tempo within the midfield, how quickly this game is being played. Coming right up through Route 1. You know, one of two things has to happen in that situation, Joe. Either that line on the back side has to come a little bit higher so they have coverage over the shoulder, so that if it does break down immediately, like we saw out of Jared Timmer around the 15-minute mark, you have the ability to provide support, or Portillo and Luis Felipe have to drop off a little bit, keep the game in front of them.
Hey, Serrano. Aiden McFadden looking for Wilson Harris. Jared Timmer rises to head away. Tosh through, finds Jansen Wilson, looking for Wilson Harris. Instead, it's Serrano who touches it around Gurr, and Vidiello bobbles it for a moment, now sends it the other way. There were two things that Danny Cruz has talked about as of late that could be better in his mind for Louisville. And right now, again, it's really nitpicking for a team that's flying atop the league, 15-4-2. That in a moment. Pirano putting the way for Sacramento. Luis Felipe intercepted by Louisville. One of those things is being more ruthless in putting games away earlier, finding that second goal in a quicker fashion as Pirano looks through for Phillips, turns back inside, and Last makes the stop. And it's because of that, moments like that, Danny Cruz does not want teams hanging around. They have plenty of goal-scoring opportunities to put games away earlier. Could be 2-0, at least already here, 20 minutes in. And just like that, Sac nearly makes it 1-1. Pirano. This is better from Sacramento. Timmer. Tio surveys the landscape. Forced it through for Luis Felipe, but recovers. You'll see this often if you're not familiar with the goalkeeping styles of Danny Vitiello. Aggressive, adventurous, terrific at times, but head-scratching at times.
Tell him you said that.
I'm just keeping the folks at home alert. If they see a yellow blur on their screen, it's the goalkeeper. Do not be alarmed.
And this is what you want, though, if you're Mark Briggs. Justin Portillo down underneath, allowing himself to be forward-facing and linking up with guys like Christian Pirano, Nick Rawson, Kieran Phillips. It's really well done by Kieran Phillips to stop on a dime and be able to get enough pace behind the ball to make Damian Law shift to the far post.
He was the big get for Sacramento this year. 24-year-old on loan from Huddersfield in England. Came up through Everton's academy. Part of this partnership between Huddersfield and Sacramento, both owned by Kevin Nagel.
So you talked about Danny Cruz's comments and finishing games off. And while I recognize that, to me, there's an underlying tone there that hasn't been addressed. And if you just dig a little bit deeper, you'll see that defensively they've been conceding unnecessarily. And so when you're not able to finish your chances, and as aggressive as they are opening up so much space, you allow opposition to remain relevant. So much so that their shutout against New Mexico United was their first in almost 2 months. They've got 8 on the season, but it was June 19th against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They've only had back-to-back shutouts twice this season. It was a stretch of 3 games from April 20th to May 1st. So basically 3 in a row, late May, early April, and then none since then. Scoring a ton of goals left and right, certainly at home, averaging 3.7 goals per game, but they have not been able to shut down the opposition because of how aggressive they are going forward.
Damian Loss really lost his footing there. Now gives it away. Perano. That's in field. Perano. Good close out by Davila. Still loose now for Sanchez. Looking through, and Phillips was there on the doorstep. Cleared away by Kyle Adams. In behind for Gurr. Perfect tackle from Jake Morris. Kebu. 17-year-old is not afraid to step up off that back line or dribble through. We saw this last week against Pittsburgh. He'll do this from time to time. He will just start galloping ahead. Throws the free kick here.
Little tweak on the back line. Jared Timmer coming over to the right side. Connor Donovan, his leadership capabilities sitting within the 3. It is because of Timmer's right foot, his ability to control. There is that aggression by Chibu Kebu. I like the little switch here from Mark Briggs, by the way. He's brought in Nick Ross a little bit deeper. Portillo and Luis Felipe come high. That's what I was talking about. Now all of a sudden, you don't have 2 guys fighting for that space on the inside. You've really occupied it with 3, possibly 4, when Christian Perano starts to invert and help out. That's why you saw Lou City try and go up over the top to bypass that line of pressure.
Portillo from the set piece. Saved by Loss. Robs Connor Donovan. The offside flag did come up, but it's not going to take away from that moment from Damian Loss. It won't show up on the stat sheet because it's offside. He can still put it on the highlight reel if he wants to.
I love the fact that Damian Loss isn't trying to cheat here on the back post and then attack it instead. Stays right into it. This allows him, if he wants to come backside, to come out, carry the momentum, and punch away. But also, if the ball's to the near post, his foundation is already set. This allows him to see the game in front of him, react appropriately, and absolute to perfection of a save. Albeit Sack in an offside position. 2 quality saves the opening 26 minutes.
22-year-old goalkeeper was best 11 and goalkeeper of the year in MLS Next Pro last year with Austin 2. Spent some time in Chicago Fire's youth system and Fulham's youth system abroad. Made his way back to the U.S. and now to Louisville on loan from Austin. Youth national teamer as well. Damian Loss for the United States. Gurr, test Loss again. McFadden clears to safety out wide. Jansen Wilson there to back him up.
And now becomes the game of cat and mouse between Danny Cruz and Mark Briggs. Talked about the tactical adjustment just a moment ago for Sacramento Republic. Now, do you try and get cute, lure them out further, touch around, go long up over the top, or do you immediately go long, play into the space, reset your lines, and then try and win some one-on-one battles? Personally, at this point in time, prefer the latter. You go direct immediately. That allows you to get a little bit on both sides of that conversation, right? You have the immediate impact where you can go and chase the game a little bit, albeit maybe not necessarily as much support in terms of numbers. but it also takes pressure off your back line. You get a little bit higher because right now, Louisville City, although sitting on that 1-0 lead, they have had to play off their back line a little bit deeper.
The yellow puts it back into play. Targeting Phillips often in this first half. Somebody whose name wasn't called much last week in the loss to Pittsburgh, and they wanted to get him involved more. They have these three strikers, Sacramento, and they haven't quite figured out yet which is the guy or what the combination should be. They've used Kieran Phillips as a standalone striker. On the bench, they have Trevor Ammon, who's their leading goal scorer this year with 9. They also have Sebastian Herrera, who has had trouble staying healthy, but when healthy, you can look at him as the top guy of that trio on any given day. Right now, it's Phillips alone and trying to find a way to get him more involved.
Two things for me unlock everything for them going forward. Number one, it's the immediate return of Russell Cicerone, a necessity this team has to have in order to maintain that presence up top, and also the counterbalance at the left wing back position, because as good as Jack Gurr has been on the right, they haven't gotten that consistency out of either Aldair Sanchez or Damia Viader. You create balance, you create success, and the ability to attack from multiple angles.
Winder looking for another here for Louisville. Jake Morris floats it back, post, body's there, Ukebu heads away. Poor clearance by Sanchez. It almost falls perfectly for Wilson Harris. That is one that he will want to forget, but he lives to tell the tale. Good evening to those of you on ESPN2. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malva. Happy to have you with us for this one from Lynn Family Stadium in the USL Championship. It's Louisville City FC against Sacramento Republic, two of the top teams in the league. Louisville right now on a historic pace, points, wins, and goals-wise. They kept it going early on, up 1-0 on a goal by this man, Wilson Harris, in the 8th minute against second-place Sacramento. One of the games of the season here tonight at Lynn Family Stadium. Demianchuk calling for a stoppage here. Kieran Phillips holding his head.
Danny Cruz, manager of Louisville City, said he wanted to focus on intensity and make sure that they were up for it early on. It's been 100 miles an hour so far from the first whistle, including the 8th minute goal. That was a beautiful ball off the back line by Arturo Ordonez. Separation created within the midfield, but the cleverness by Wilson Harris to allow the game to come to him, staying wide so that he has the ability to get the ball on that favored right foot and create his 13th goal of the season.
And looking for more now, Louisville. Jansen Wilson is down. Sergei Demianchuk says it's all ball. Those of you just joining us now, Louisville on pace to perhaps take down the all-time points, wins, goals, points per game, and home wins records here this year in USL Championship. On the other side, some history afoot for Sacramento tonight. They are unbeaten in their last 11 road games dating back to last season. 7 wins, 4 draws. If they take a result home tonight, they would tie the all-time mark of 12. Louisville continues its chase of history, and Sacramento could get some tonight.
You said, by the way, your opinion, total points was the most attainable?
Home wins, I think, is the most attainable mathematically, but total points might actually be the opposite, most difficult.
See, for me, I would probably lean on the home wins, even more so goals, just because they kind of coincide with each other, right? Louisville City averaging 3.7 goals per game at home, 37 and 10 so far. You do the math, They're on pace for 26 more. That would get them to 73, which means they would only need 5 in their remaining 6 games away from Lynn Family Stadium. Well, they're currently on pace to hit 9. So that's why I lean on goals. But then again, we're still coming back to the fact that they're throttling teams at home, right?
Absolutely. And the points one, it's only because you just never know if a team dips, and even if they show out well, but they have a tie. The ties always contribute up, but the home wins, again, coming into the night 9-1, the home wins record is actually a tie between 8 teams at 13 wins. Right now they have 9. As it stands, they would get to 10. And after tonight, they're going to have another 6 home games remaining. So even if for a team that's 10-1 on the year, they split the difference and go 3-3, they tie the record. They're a hair better, they go 4-2, they get the record. So we're not talking about going a perfect, near perfect 16-1. Just getting that record, it's very attainable.
We're also not that far removed from 3 losses in 5 a couple of weeks ago for Lou City. As good as they've been on the year, they did have that little blip mid-June to early July, losses on the road to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, at Oakland, and then of course the 5-2 that was here on June 22nd against Rhode Island FC. Coughing up 3 points there as well, but able to back on the horse, maintain pace with the Charleston Battery, not just in the Eastern Conference for the #1 position, but the #1 seed overall in postseason play in that Players' Shield. Coveted award, that the only award that Louisville City has not been able to put in their trophy case so far through 9 complete years of play. 9 straight Eastern Conference finals, 4 times they've been the victor, twice they've been able to put a star above the crest and take down the league overall. They've had the MVP, they've had the Golden Boot winner, done a little bit of everything. And yet with all of their success in what is the standard bearer in the USL Championship, hard to believe that they've never been the #1 seed.
And they're aware of it and want it desperately, because aside from the piece of silverware you get with Players' Shield and winning the regular season, maybe more importantly, it guarantees that the road to a title runs through your stadium, where again, they've been outstanding, 9-1 this season. Phillips, still got to play. They last made the final in 2022, losing on the road against San Antonio, and Danny Cruz is adamant that that's a different result if that game's at Lynn Family Stadium. He certainly makes a case. That was a historic year for Louisville in 2022, so it's not out of the realm, and that's why they really want it at home this year. Did go out for a Sacramento throw. Footing on his own volition. Kyle Adams can't make anything of that opportunity. Had Wilson Harris going. There's Jared Timmer. See a lot of touches on that back line. Came into the week 6th in the league in passes completed. Center back, be that high, shows you he's that fulcrum, that pivot point for Sac Republic. Well won by Sean Tosh. The USL Super League is kicking off its inaugural Division I Professional Women's Soccer League this August. 8 teams across the country will begin play on August 17th. That's a week from today, airing exclusively on NBC's Peacock Network. Under 10 to play in this first half. Louisville still leading on that 8th minute Wilson Harris goal. Elijah Winder, Ray Serrano, can they add to it? Serrano went for the ceiling, ended up over the bar.
It's a very quick and clever ball by not only Jake Morris, but watch how fast the ball comes off the foot of Elijah Winder through the midfield. Great little overlap on the outside by Ray Serrano, and Winder's smart here. Just play simple. You don't have to do anything crazy technical because the space is there. You've got Ray Serrano, the ability to get it out in front of him. Split-second decision-making, proving fruitful once again for Lou City. One of the struggles that Sacramento Republic are having right now. I like the tactical adjustment they made in the midfield, but now all of a sudden, you're getting an advancement off of the back line. Usually what we see from Mark Briggs' squad, so it's Kyle Adams and Sean Tosh who are playing very high, stepping up into the midfield. So even though Ross and Perrano have come in support to try and create that numbers advantage centrally, those center backs are following right in with them. It's very difficult to create the link-up play, so now you have to respond. This is that cat and mouse that I talked about. Do you come a little bit deeper if you're Sac and try and play off of it, or come back up high? To me, you have to come back up high. You have to take some chances over the next couple of minutes to allow yourself to go and pressure the back line, create some space, and allow guys like Christian Perrano and Kieran Phillips to play in behind. It's been back to goal too much over the last 10 minutes.
Ray Serrano picked up a yellow card there. He joins Luis Felipe of Sacramento. There's the only two players in the book for now. Here's Gurr. Jack Gurr shapes the ball in. Louisville this season, 2.5 goals per game. Sacramento best in the league defensively, just under 0.8 goals allowed per game. And now it's the goal scoring of Louisville winning out. Sacramento's best chance came on a header from Connor Donovan that ended up negated by an offside flag, but it was a warning shot to Louisville, defending set pieces. More physical play here as Under went down and then Harris went down. We've seen a lot of this, very intense all evening long. And Louisville sitting in first in not only the East, but in all of USL Championship. Sacramento second in the West. These teams met out West last year. Sacramento throttled Louisville 5-0. Danny Cruz said that has been in their minds this week. Said they owe Sac one of those results here. Something off the training ground, played short. Swung around to Jake Morris. Fakes the first. Morris underneath, goes for goal, and the C's part into the arms of Danny Vitiello.
The good news is that's the first time that Louisville City have been able to hit the target since the 8th minute goal by Wilson Harris. I say good news because defensively, Sacramento Republic has done a very good job of keeping everything in front of them. Possessionally, Lou City have been better on the ball. They've been more aggressive. And yet, throughout everything that we've seen in the first half, outside of the goal, they haven't created a ton in front of net, to be fair. At least none in terms of quality that really challenges Danny Vitiello. For my money, best goalkeeper in USL Championship. Historically, goalkeepers with at least 100 appearances. He's got the best goals against average in that conversation.
To your point for Louisville, haven't had anything in terms of shots on target. Just those moments where it's come through the box and we're waiting for somebody to come up, find it. Just hasn't happened. They've gotten into those dangerous areas, but haven't turned it into anything. And that goes back to Danny Cruz and the way that he feels this team is still, even at 15-4-2, left goals, left points on the board because they have not taken advantage of certain opportunities. Another free kick for Sacramento. Louisville thinks it's soft.
Just take your time, slow things down here. You're struggling to find rhythm within a game. Find chances on the front line. Having someone like a Justin Portillo linking up with guys like Luis Felipe, Karen Phillips. Certainly Donovan or Timmer could be involved in that conversation just before the dressing room change momentum.
Another free kick driven in. It'll be a corner for Sacramento. No, they'll change it now. It'll be a goal kick. Connor Donovan got it last. Luis Felipe gets a touch on it. Winder. Patience from Sean Toge. Looking for Ray Serrano. Chibi Ukebu, the 17-year-old, making his first USL start. It's on the end of it. So comfortable again through 45. Ball in action a few times. The young center back. Wilson Harris takes it away from Jared Timmer. Gets it ahead to Ray Serrano. Gets it back from Ray Serrano. Something on here for Louisville. Harris. Oh, as quickly as it seemed like something was on, it ends up over the supporter section.
It's not often that Jared Timmer gets it wrong coming off the back line. Just a little nudge by Wilson Harris. This move right here. Thanks for coming. Good game. And Wilson Harris kindly ushering everyone at Lynn Family Stadium to the Modelo Bar. Magical place it is. Suggests that if you've ever had, or never had, I should say, the opportunity to visit the cathedral, not only put it atop your list of priorities, but probably make that the #1 destination when you step in the doors.
You might have a chance come November.
Odds-on favorite,
more and
absolutely.
more like this is where maybe the title game will be contested. Still a long way to go, but I don't know if you'd find many people who would pick against that right now. 2 minutes of stoppage time tacked on. Sergei Demianchuk sprints into this one so that it doesn't combust any further with Wilson Harris down. Everybody pointing fingers, including the fans, right behind this fracas.
Justin Portillo just lost his balance. He wasn't trying anything negative in this situation. If you watch Portillo, when they come over, that's a foul right there, but right there, he just loses his balance. He's already on top of it, he can't do anything. His left foot does get caught, and then as they continue, now we're having a real conversation about the referee issuing a card. Clear as day that the whistle had been blown, and a little bit surprising that the assistant referee didn't get involved. There it is. Again, it's not the initial infraction that gets him the card here. It's the fact that after the contact, and I've been in this situation before, you're just trying to stand yourself up. Justin Portillo's trying to get up, but then the pressure by out there Sanchez and Justin Portillo, just way too much contact after the fact. And all of a sudden, Luis Felipe and your other central midfielder both sitting on yellows. Wouldn't exactly award an Oscar to Wilson Harris, to be fair. Not his best performance.
From the ensuing set piece, more contact there in the box. This will go against Arturo Ordonez in Louisville. We knew it was going to be intense between these two teams. Part of this first half hit a little bit of a lull, but starting to come out of that now as we're set for halftime and then half number 2. First place in the East, second place in the West. Two of the title favorites, perhaps, here in 2024. Going at it. Wilson Harris looking for one more right before the break. Jake Morris will get there. Trying to turn the corner on Timmer, who cut it off well. Brilliant bit of defending by Timmer, and that takes us into the half.
If you're Danny Cruz, you're going to be very happy with the start within this match. Unfortunately, they just didn't really create that much after the fact. You can expect that the intensity will be up a couple of notches in the second 45 minutes, but pay credit where it's due to Sacramento Republic, who, outside of the opening 10 minutes, excellent adjustments defensively to keep the game in front of them, allow themselves to stay steadfast defensively. The problem is not a lot of presence on the attacking end of the ball.
On paper, when the schedule came out last December, this was one you circled. Two teams who made their respective conference finals last year are playing, again, outstanding soccer this year, and it's Louisville who leads 1-0, courtesy of this Wilson Harris goal, his 13th of the year. More to come from Lynn Family Stadium. Beautiful evening here in Louisville, Kentucky. That's overlooking Lynn Family Stadium, where Lou City FC have a 1-0 lead right now on Sacramento Republic. One of the games of the season here in USL Championship, and happy to have you with us as we welcome you back inside of our booth with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, this Sacramento team we're watching 2 years ago represented USL Championship in the US Open Cup final. Now, coming up in a couple of weeks, Indy 11 have a chance to earn that same right.
They're not only looking to get to the final, but they're looking to become the first team since 1999 to actually take down the U.S. Open Cup as a lower division squad. So let's take a look at the matchup. Simple enough, we'll start with Sporting Kansas City here, right? Peter Vermees's team, one of the best to ever do it when it comes to U.S. Open Cup. One more title, and they would tie the all-time record at 5. 2 other teams currently hold that honor. Why are they capable of doing so? You know, they have such a good structure about them that regardless of personnel, no matter when it changes, you understand exactly what your role is. Now, the bad news for Peter Vermees is only 1 win in their last 5. That's the good news here for Indy 11 and Sean McCauley. And for Indy 11 to find success against them, they have to be able to shapeshift. Well, that's one of the best assets that they carry within their bag. They like to play vertical. They like to have the ability to commit numbers forward, so much so that they are an offensive juggernaut. They struggle defensively, but in the attacking side of the ball, 13 different goal scorers. We talk about Lou City and what they can do in the final third. Indy 11, not that far behind in the conversation, but their form is also struggling right now. Only 1 win in their last 5. They have to face New Mexico United. They have to face Las Vegas Lights, who are currently 10 games unbeaten. But the best thing about this Indy 11 team and their chances against Sporting Kansas City is about character. They have the ability to suffer. They are going to have to suffer on the road against Sporting Kansas City. But if they can get a result against them and Seattle Sounders take down LAFC, Indy 11 could be hosting the U.S. Open Cup final come September 25th.
That would be spectacular if the chips fall that way. It's all coming up again in 2.5 weeks, that midweek there, August 27th and 28th, Indy 11 SKC and LAFC against Seattle. Now, here in Louisville, more to come between 2 of the top teams in the league. Lou City 1, Sacramento 0, 45 more from Lynn Family Stadium on the way. Fans down at this end of the field were happy in the first half to see Wilson Harris score right in front of them, giving Louisville this 1-0 lead over Sacramento. Let's take it through highlights from that first half of action. Outside of that first goal, Devin, there were not many opportunities for Louisville.
A quick start for Louisville City. Again, this is about their ability to push the pace as quickly as possible from one end to the other. Arturo Ordonez does a really good job of finding Jake Morris, and then it's twofold. I isolated Wilson Harris's ability to stay high and to the left and get the ball on the right foot. I commend Jake Morris for not following that movement to the far side of the field. Instead, on the cutback to Wilson Harris, his 13th on the season, tied for second in the USL Championship, and the early lead for Lou City. The response by Mark Briggs, extra bodies back into the midfield, specifically Pirano and Nick Ross a little bit deeper. In order for them to find success up high, it's got to be this combination right here. Christian Pirano on the great little diagonal. What a cutback across by Kieran Phillips. Tries to pick out the bottom corner, but one of two saves in a 5-minute span for Damian Loss that puts him into the top 10 in the USL Championship in total saves. The second one, point-blank range. 6 yards out on the doorstep, coming off the head of Connor Donovan on the redirect. Beautifully taken into the bottom corner by Damian Loss, parried aside, and still 1-0 after 45 minutes of play.
Anything stand out to you statistically? I mean, for me, the 58% for Sacramento, it never felt like they had that much, but really in control in terms of that.
One that's not up there, Sacramento Republic, 11 games unbeaten to tie the overall record at 12. They're going to have to do something against the Lou City team that they've never done before. Lou City, a perfect 9-0-0, leading after 45 minutes of play this season.
And Sacramento on the other side, 0-4-1 when conceding first this year. They don't have a single come-from-behind win, although a come-from-behind draw would be enough to get that record going. It's Louisville 1, Sacramento nothing. The second half is on the way. It's the USL on ESPN.
Cheers, Sebastian.
Set to begin half number 2 here in Louisville, where the boys in purple have a 1-0 lead over Sacramento Republic. Right now, Louisville City has to keep pace because Charleston Battery won earlier tonight. The team on their heels right now by a point in the Eastern Conference standings coming into the night. Louisville do have 2 games in hand. A win would do them well. Those teams meet next week. If they could get through these 45, they go into that game in first in the Eastern Conference, and we're underway now in half number 2. Louisville left to right in the purple, Sacramento right to left in the white, alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa, happy to have you with us tonight on ESPN. Harris sneaks it through, Serrano cuts it back, Davila's there! It caroms off his left foot and in! What a start to this second half for Louisville!
One of the first targets Lou City went and secured in the offseason was the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, Arturo Ordonez. An incredible defender who started the first goal and the second. What a challenge that is to win just over the midfield line. And then look at how high of a line they have in terms of pressure and support. 6 different players, 25 yards and in for Lou City to allow themselves to chase this narrative further. Wilson Harris, so unselfish in nature. Teray Serrano in his career year that continues again. His 5th assist on the season, Louisville's 2nd of the night. Davila with the double for Lou City, flying to start the second half.
Sometimes as a team, when you're hot, you're just hot, and the goals that this team has been scoring this year, you see in the close-up there, it's cleared away by Portillo right onto the already swinging left foot of Davila, and it ends up in the corner. That could have gone literally anywhere. It ends up in the corner. It's 2-0 Louisville, and the team that is chasing the all-time goals record here this year has 2 more tonight against the #1 defense in all of USL Championship.
And just go back to it, by the way, if you're just joining us, or if you had the luxury of watching these two in the opening 45 minutes. The biggest point of contention for Danny Cruz, intensity, intensity, intensity. Making sure they were the aggressor early on to create separation against Sacramento.
Trying to get it right back now, Sacramento. Timmer, well defended. Floated in again by Portillo. Felipe left it. I think he thought he was offside, and he thought correctly as the flag comes up.
What's the response now? I mentioned after the highlights and stats at halftime that in order for Sacramento Republic to complete history, 12 games unbeaten, dating back to the fall of 2023. That's, of course, away from home. That would tie a record held by 2 teams, the 2014 and 15 Rochester Rhinos, Reno 1968 as well in there, 17 and 18 squads. But to do it, they would have to dethrone Lou City, who are 9-0-0 when leading after 45 minutes. You know, I was going to wait to get into this to see what the start of the second half was going to be like, but Mark Briggs has got to seriously be thinking early on here about being more aggressive on the attacking front, chasing someone like a Trevor Hammond or a Sebastian Herrera. I like the latter because of the ability to play down into the midfield, create strength in numbers. But with lack of options, lack of quality, and being down 2-0 with the entirety of the second half to play, you have to think that in the next 10 or 15 minutes, probably on the lower side, that a change has to come in order to get back into this.
And things haven't been very smooth offensively for Sacramento as of late. There's the inflated number of the total goals since mid-June because of the 5 they scored against Oakland in their rivalry match against the Oakland Roos, that 5-2 victory. But if you exclude that game, since mid-June, here are their goal totals: 0-1, 0-0, 1-0. It's not been great offensively for the second-place team in the Western Conference. Again, things clicked against the Oakland Roots that night to the tune of a 5-2 victory. Outside of that, this offense has been stuck in a lower gear since the early portion of June. So now, near the midway point of August already, as hard as that is to believe. Sacramento wins it back through Luis Felipe. Ball stay in. Gurr fighting his way through. Looking at the assistant referee and our center referee, Sergei Demyanchuk. Call made. Davila scored the second.
Pressure.
Gives it away. It's out to Gurr. Floated in. Right behind Nick Ross. Is that something that Sacramento needs to show more of, that high line of pressure?
It's that pressure, and it's the commitment with numbers coming forward. We saw it a couple of times from Connor Donovan and Jared Timmer. You know, whether it's Pirano, a Portillo step, it depends on positionally where they're located.
Sanchez. And it's out for a corner.
When they're having to chase in 1v1s and 2v2s, they're struggling. When they're committing high lines, they're finding much more success defensively, which allows them to chase the game, and they've compacted the field. Again, you push Louisville City a little bit deeper, you bring numbers high, all of a sudden, on those turnovers, Joe, you're not looking to go 60 yards, maybe 30 at best. Much better odds for Sacramento.
Pirano from this corner, dangerously through, still loose in front. Can somebody put it home? Yes, it's Nick Ross. Sacramento cuts the deficit in half, and we've got a game here in Louisville.
Well, the first issue you're going to have here is the fact that nobody from Lou City rotates out on the 2v1 to help out. Ray Serrano, he's got to commit. He does. He goes to Pirano. You have the ability to cut back across, but he's slow because he's by his lonesome. And then from there, it's just your reaction points. Who's willing to quickly react to where the pressure is coming from? As troublesome as it's been for Nick Ross to get into the attack tonight, and he probably would have been the player that I would have changed. Really well done here to anticipate that secondary ball coming off the back post. Adjust his body and allow himself to get into a position to just get a touch on it, yet alone draw themselves back within one.
In a year where they've dealt with some injuries and some rotation, Sacramento, Nick Ross has been there constant, the only member of the club to start every game so far this season. That's his second goal to go with 5 assists. 32-year-old has been a mainstay over the last half-decade in USL Championship. Just crossed the 10,000 minutes threshold a couple of weeks ago as he continues to take down some milestones, and he gets Sacramento right back into it just a few minutes after that deficit became 2. And Serrano stand over this free kick. We've seen some very high-scoring games in this stadium this season. We've seen a 5-3 win for Lou City. We've seen a few blowouts. We saw a 5-2 loss. See if this one is as helter-skelter down the stretch. No trouble there for Vitiello. Luis Felipe brings it wide for Pirano. Some new life now for Sacramento. Pirano to Gurr on the ground. It's all the way through and in. The equalizer for Karen Phillips. Just like that. All level at Lynn Family Stadium.
Sacramento goal scored by number 23, Karen Phillips.
production from the 9 spot is certainly the conversation for Sacramento Republic, but in order to be able to create that separation, you have to have unders underneath to make Lou City step out of their comfort zone, to get that separation between the center backs. Exactly what happens. Arturo Ordonez, Kyle Adams out of position. You have to drag Sean Tosh across the field if you're Kieran Phillips. Incredible movement by Sacramento Republic overall, by Kieran Phillips up top in the 9. 2 goals in the span of 3 minutes, and we're back to square one.
It's funny, you and I off the air at halftime talk about the way we want to carry some of the conversation. We don't go into it blindly. We think about some things sometimes that we want to say. And you and I said maybe 10 minutes in, let's assess what changes Mark Briggs might have to make. Yeah, that was when it was 1-0. Now it's 2-2. And these 10 minutes have gone completely a direction that maybe we didn't expect them to go.
Well, the conversation, though, was all about Sacramento Republic and just being aggressive, right? It was about being mobile, active. There's a bunch of synonyms we can throw around here to keep you on par. Defensively, not concerned with them, right? You know, they did a good job of keeping the game in front of them. They moved side to side. They really prohibited Lou City from getting any real sort of quality in front of net. So much so that going into halftime, even though there was the 1-0 lead and Lou City was the better team overall on the ball, their XG was below 0.5. I mean, they didn't really do a ton to create, and that's because of how good they are defensively. But 40 yards and in was very different. Kieran Phillips was by his lonesome. You had Christian Perano, who was dropping in defensively to help out. He wasn't on the ball enough. When he was swarmed by everybody within the midfield. No link-up play whatsoever with Luis Felipe and Justin Portillo. And that's why I alluded to the idea of bringing a more active player into the mix on that front line, possibly removing Nick Ross. Well, I'll be quiet now, because Nick Ross grabs one back, albeit off the set piece. A second bite at the apple. And then immediately, Kieran Phillips grabs the equalizer. Conversation doesn't change, though. It's going to be intensity for Danny Cruz. He's going to be very upset at how slow his team was from a reactionary standpoint. And for Mark Briggs, keep that up. Keep up that intensity. Chase this game. Do not back down from the challenge, because he says that when they're at their best on the road, that's what they do. They feel the pressure. They feel the emotion, the opposition, and they accept that challenge. They embrace it and go find success.
Alder Sanchez gives it back for Luis Felipe. Luis Felipe, good challenge put in to win it back by Jansen Wilson. And it was the usual suspects again on that goal for Sacramento to tie it. Talked about Jack Gurr in the first half, one of the team leaders in chances created. He was the top man in USL Championship last season among defenders in goal contributions. He gets the assist, and it's the Huddersfield loanee, the Everton Academy product, the loanee Kieran Phillips, who gets his 6th of the season now for Sacramento. Back to a conversation you and I had in the first half, Devin, for Louisville, where they're scoring at will, yes, but they'll just have these moments. You mentioned somebody didn't rotate out on the set piece, boom, goal. Quick strike again from Sacramento moments later, boom, goal. They just have these lapses defensively that even for a team who's 15-4-2, it's maybe the difference still between a few more points they could have had already this season. Skura turns the corner again, and line puts it in front. Save, no, it's in. Piece of it for Loss. Ross gets his second from 2-0 down to 3-2 up. Dreamland for Sacramento.
Sacramento goals for 19, Ross.
Love the quick look here by Luis Felipe off the set piece, just trying to open up some space on the far side, control the tempo of the game overall. One of the biggest things when you look at this back line and the switch is Connor Donovan centrally to allow Jared Timmer to get on the ball. That beautiful right foot of his, always so clean in distribution, to find one of the most aggressive pieces on this team in Jack Gurr. You get him 20 yards and in. Forward facing, you find success. Beautiful ball back across, and then Nick Ross just has to breathe on this thing in order to slide it in for the go-ahead goal. second tonight. 3 in the last 4 games from him, 3 in the last 4 for Kieran Phillips. Cruise control over the last 15 minutes for the visitors.
The two head coaches just swapped postures, basically. It was Teddy Cruz who was alert, into it, and active in his technical area when it was 2-0 Louisville. And it was Mark Briggs who was sitting there, one hand on the chin, thinking of what may come. And those two have just swapped expressions. Now it's Louisville's turn to answer back. Trailing for the first time in this match. Harris dispossessed. It was 1-0 Louisville at halftime. Taylor Davila made it 2-0 in the 46th. And then it was Ross in the 52nd, Phillips in the 55th, Ross again in the 58th. And all of that adds up to 3-2 Sacramento. A 4-goal second half. Not even a full, or just now a full 15 minutes into it. What is in store the rest of the way?
Only 2 previous times prior to this match have we seen Louisville City concede more than 1 goal at Lynn Family Stadium at their home venue. The last time, June 22nd, was the 5-2 loss against Rhode Island FC. Prior to that, you have to go all the way back to their match on CBS back on April 6th against Indy 11. They conceded 3, albeit in a 5-3 victory. We've talked about how much they create, how yes, they are very good attacking-wise. They are fallible, they do concede, but at home, it is not a regular occurrence to concede more than 1, certainly not 3, and Danny Cruz has had enough. Intensity has been everything. Focus was the secondary word. They've lacked that in the opening 15 minutes of the second half. He said, I've had enough. Come sit next to me. Reinforcements coming.
Now McCabe, Dylan Maris, Amadou Diop replace Taylor Davila, Ray Serrano, and Jake Morris in that order. Ross trying to push through for his hat trick. Sanchez. Sent long, tracked by McFadden. He does concede the corner. It was from a corner that Sacramento got the first of these 3 goals that they scored in a 7-minute span. Officially the 59th minute. That 3rd goal. 52, 55, 59 for Sac Republic. Remember the bit of history they're chasing. If they hold on for either a win or a draw, they would tie the all-time USL Championship record for longest road unbeaten run. It dates back to last October. On the corner, dealt with by Louisville. Into space for Wilson Harris. There's Felipe. Stop what could have been a dangerous threat there. They had numbers, Louisville. The USL Super League is kicking off its inaugural Division I Professional Women's Soccer League in August. It's a week from now that 8 teams across the country will begin play, airing exclusively on NBC's Peacock Network. This is where Louisville has done some damage this season. 25 goals scored in the final half hour of matches. Difference is, Devin, a lot of those have come to tack on to already large leads. This is a difficult spot to be in. They've only lost once at home this year, 9-1 overall. I hope the Louisville fans don't come my way after we were just having that discussion right on cue as that third goal was scored, that there's just been those moments this year where they've switched off defensively, and that's been their Achilles heel. Can they get it back, though? Jansen Wilson tiptoed the line. He's onside. Wilson! Brilliant! End-to-end! 6 goals! Split down the middle! 3-3!
Well, the intensity definitely up a notch. This ball right here, well done by Amadou Dia, but this ball right here by Dylan Maris. Woo! Some kind of vision, my friend. The super sub Dylan Maris, magical ball to Jansen Wilson, and talking to Danny Cruz, he said this could be the game changer. This could be the future. Jansen Wilson has been something special. His 5th goal on the season, the 3rd of the night for Louisville City, is an absolute cracker into the upper corner. The touch back across his body to get it onto the left foot. Incredibly taken, using the momentum of the defender against him. Again, 6 different players on this Lou City squad. The best attacking unit in the USL Championship. In the top 50 in scoring. All of which, by the way, have at least 5 goals to their name. Incredible numbers.
Back and forth they go. Wilson Harris, is this the next one? Took a deflection off the bar. McCabe. And out for a corner.
Well, what's the old saying? Sometimes it's better lucky than good. Wilson Harris is certainly good to get himself into this position. Dylan Maris, very clean coming off the bench, by the way. Love the cut back across, and then Danny Vitiello breathe a sigh of relief. Woodwork is your best friend, at least for the moment.
Ensuing corner. Good service. Harris was there, flicked away. They'll do it from the opposite side. A 5-goal second half so far. McCabe from the corner. Maris. Some space here for Wilson. I'd like to have seen where that would have ended up off his foot. Now Pirano harassed by Dia. And it's an immediate yellow card for Amadou Dia. Sacramento readying a change on the other side. Sebastian Herrera, we're told, is coming on for Kieran Phillips. USL Summer of Soccer continues on the CBS Sports Network with a Western Conference matchup. Top versus bottom. High-flying Sacramento Republic hosts El Paso Locomotive. Team looking to climb up the standings. That's August 14th this week, 10:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. billed this as one of the games of the season. One that just circled when the schedule came out last December. I feel like more often than not, and I don't have the numbers to back this up, just feels anecdotally like those matches never live up to the hype when it comes to the regular season. Postseason, yes. Regular season, no. This one certainly did, and we've got 20 minutes remaining.
Dylan Maris has been excellent since coming off the bench. Got the assist on the Jensen Wilson equalizer just 4 minutes ago. 66th minute. Blast into the upper corner. His first goal contribution since a 2-1 victory at Loudoun in September of 2023. Check the stat line out, by the way. Played 22 minutes, and in 14 minutes of play, had a goal and assist and a yellow card. Man after my heart. Love that. It's like you in Sunday League. You're by yourself.
You're giving me a goal?
No opposition. Hey man, all you need is a ball, a padded room, and then some music, and you'll be just fine.
It's interesting. This is one of those that you and I are enjoying here as we get to do this, and we hope, and I would imagine the folks at home are enjoying, because it's 3-3, and what more you could ask for. The coaches probably hate this. You ask managers, 3-3 games like this drive them up a wall, because you're making mistakes that lead to these goals, and it's just back and forth, and they would much rather have it in a comfort zone of 1-0, 2-1. I don't know if Danny Cruz and Mark Briggs are having as much fun as we are. Looking for another one now, Louisville. Danny Vitiello has it.
Friendly reminder, by the way, that if you don't know the backstory of both of these managers, Danny Cruz for Louisville City, Mark Briggs for Sacramento Republic. Mark Briggs actually got Danny Cruz started on his coaching journey. He brought him to the Real Monarchs after the 2017 season that Danny Cruz had with the San Francisco Deltas, and he brought him to the Monarchs and said, listen, come here, help me with this team. That team, by the way, the Monarchs, won the Players' Shield in 2017, the #1 squad in USL Championship, and he said, let me show you, let me help you down the coaching path. He said, I can never thank him enough for starting me on that journey. Although a little bit of thanks is in order, I believe, because Danny Cruz is actually the godfather of Mark Briggs's young boy. Never hurts when there's a little bit of blood on the line in the situation. I did ask him if he spoke to the young man as to whether or not he'd be willing to cough up the secrets, and he said, yeah, he's not exactly tactically inclined as of yet. But the day that he gets a cell phone, I'll have him on speed dial.
On. We've had a few minutes without a goal for the second half that we've seen so far. Pickers can't be choosers. 3-3, 6 goals. Not much more you can ask for right now. 5 of the goals here in the second half. All coming in a 20-minute span from the 46 to the 66 minutes. These 7 minutes have felt like ages when it's come to the goal scoring in this one. But Louisville plotting now. Flipped over the top. Wilson Harris to the end line. And there's a corner. McCabe will take, goes quickly. Dylan Maris back to McCabe. Floated back post. Vitiello has it in his orbit. remains. Glad to have had you with us tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. 6 goals split down the middle at 3-3. With the ex-German pro Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Another edition of the USL on ESPN here in the summer of soccer. Jack Gerb looking for another assist, already with 2. Foul goes against Sacramento inside the area, and it's getting a little bit chippy down there.
Kyle Adams was definitely taken down from behind. The referee immediately recognized it. Danny Cruz has gone to his bench a couple of times. Mark Briggs has followed suit. This was Sebastian Herrera. Tried to come over the back shoulder of Kyle Adams. Just watch right atop your screen. I gotta be honest, if Sebastian Herrera just continued the run here instead of trying to get involved in the gamesmanship, create contact unnecessarily, probably gets in behind and on the end of that ball.
And this is an important return here for Lou City. Adrian Perez will take the field, replacing Jansen Wilson. They've missed him since the first week of June. He's been on the shelf injured. Before then, he's having a terrific season. 11 starts, 2 goals, 5 assists. Back out there now, Adrian Perez. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice.
I'd argue next to Wilson Harris that Adrian Perez was probably the second best player in terms of consistency for Lou City to start the season. You referenced it, 7 goal contributions, first 11 matches prior to his departure in the 13th minute of that 12th game. Another change for Sacramento Republic. It will be the departure of Nick Ross. His goals tonight, the first one coming off the set piece down in the corner. Second chance opportunity on the back post, well done. This one well worked. Beauty of a team goal that saw him on the doorstep create the third of the night for Sacramento Republic. His third on the season, the lead. Although they've relinquished that, what a comeback that has been here in the second half for Sacramento Republic. Again, Lou City trying to keep pace with the Charleston Battery, not just atop the Eastern Conference, but conversation in the USL Championship overall for the #1 seed, the Players' Shield, as they call it. Charleston Battery dispatched of 901 FC earlier tonight, 3-1. Marcanic scored his 21st goal, league leading. Well on pace to break, ironically, Cameron Lancaster's 2018 record-setting season of 25 goals. That was then tied in 2021 by Haji Berry of Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Sacramento Republic, 11 games unbeaten on the road dating back to the fall of last season. 12 is the current record. Well within reach. Wasn't a short joke, Joe, by the way.
Jimmy Ukebu is going to pick up a yellow card here. Elijah Weiner doesn't take too kindly. That is a young battle that will be fun to watch for years to come in this league. Weiner, the 21-year-old. Ukebu, the 17-year-old.
Another solid performance on the night for Chibi. Just a little bit late in this one, but this is one of the things that you want from any defender, but certainly a young one. If you're going to be aggressive and make a mistake, you do it where you can get away with it, right? It's on the sideline. There's no other runners in support for Lou City in from behind, and although he's a little bit late from a reactionary standpoint, you create context so you don't allow the attacker to get in behind you. It's one that if you're Mark Briggs on the sideline, you're willing to concede, especially because the set piece is from quite a far distance away.
Danny Cruz giving out some of the instructions in case Vitiello catches it. He always likes to go quickly. Got to get back quickly if you're Louisville, if this is an easy gather for Danny Vitiello. Harris or McCabe. The right foot, number 11, McCabe. Left foot of Maris. Which will it be? It is McCabe. As far as Tosh, knocked back to Ordonez. That's a center back who got his left foot around it, but not meant to be.
Both center backs trying to combine as well. Sean Tosh, one of those 6 Lou City players in the top 50 and scoring 4 to his name on the season. Loose 9 in spectacular fashion. Route to the USL Championship final, Eastern Conference title in 2022, falling just short to San Antonio FC.
Winder through, Harris offside. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball free to play. Download now. These are moments where expected goals and real goals don't add up. Only 2 combined expected goals in this one. We've been treated to 6. Amadou Dia for Wilson Harris. And again, the offside flag comes up. Eddie Cruz didn't agree. He was right there alongside the assistant referee.
I'm with him. He was not in an offside position. The linesman a little bit behind the play there. But to be fair, Danny Vidiello well off his line, already en route to impede the run of Wilson Harris.
From our vantage point, I thought he was offside, but the defender played it off his head. So I thought Harris, off the ricochet from the defender who intentionally played it, would have still been on.
As the game has gone on here for Lou City, interestingly enough, Danny Cruz called it. He said if the game becomes open, it's one of the areas that we've struggled in. As good as we are transitionally on the attacking side, it doesn't bode well for us defensively. We need structure. We need control. They've lost it.
Pirano cuts it back. Felipe buries his hand in his hands. And goes all the way out for a throw. Sub being prepared now for Sacramento. Only used 2. They have 3 remaining, but only 1 substitution window remaining. Louisville have used 4 changes. They have 1 left.
You could hear Danny Cruz on the sideline. He's pleading with his team to just step on the ball and control here.
And looking in behind, again the flag up this time. Adrian Perez.
Just much too stretched. And, you know, I talked about it a second ago. He said, our success going forward is one thing, but our lack of ability to manage territory, which then leads to poor turnovers, the game then becomes transitional. That's where we fail. If we get into back and forth games, that's where we struggle. That's not a long-term recipe for success, not just within the game against Sacramento Republic, but within this league specifically. We can defend deep, we can pin opposition high, we can do everything, but we have to control positionally the territory. We cannot be expansive from end to end, both sides of the ball.
Perez into the area, outside of the boot, the header, the save from Vidiello, robbing Niall McCabe.
Well, they don't have to do it end-to-end. They only have to do it on one side of the ball to find success, Lou City. And hard to argue there's anyone better in the business right now than this team going forward. What a move by Lou City. Full length to the field, multiple players, beautiful ball in. A magical adjustment by Niall McCabe. But as I stated before, that is the best goalkeeper in USL Championship right now, Danny Vitiello. Sac has given up 3 on the night, none to the fault of Vitiello, whose 10 shutouts lead the championship. And not so sure we're going to see a more important save down the stretch than that one to keep his team in it.
Well, McCabe couldn't do anything but look back and nod at Vitiello in acknowledgement after that save was made. Maybe also a glance of bewilderment at how he made the stop. It's McCabe now who will take the corner. 4 to go of the 90. McCabe offset up there, went out, then in. Wasted moment. Well, there are 22 other teams who wouldn't want to see it, but I think a lot of people would want to see this again down the line come the final, especially if it looks like this. Louisville entered the night first place in USL Championship. Sacramento Republic second in the West. 2 teams who made their respective conference finals last year and lost. New City, a model of excellence in this league. They played 9 seasons, now it's 10. The previous 9, they've made 9 conference finals. They have those 2 stars above the crest. Only is the wrong word. I think a lot of teams would like to have 2 stars above the crest, but 2017, 2018, it's been a few years. They've come close. No cigar. Sacramento just the 1 star above the crest, came all the way back in 2014. You could see these 2 teams battling to end their respective droughts come November.
And the success in the playoffs, their ability to maintain form at home, of course. Sacramento Republic has struggled in that conversation. Blue City, Danny Cruz, one of the best in the business in terms of home form, and they're in a stretch right now that we haven't really talked about it. Started with the 1-0 victory at the #1 team in the Western Conference, New Mexico United, on the weekend, hosting the #2 team in the West, SAC, right now. And then they will travel next Saturday. They will host next Saturday the Charleston Battery, who virtually are in first place in the USL Championship after their victory against Memphis tonight, albeit just a 1-point lead. It's basically a 2-horse race at this point in time for the East and for the #1 seed. It's the Battery and it's Louisville City.
McFadden picked up a yellow card here. Irate that this wasn't given as a corner. Might have taken a slight touch off McFadden's shorts. Watches right quad there. It's tight, but it goes out for a goal kick. And back to what you're talking about there in that race right now, atop the East and atop the league. Next week might be that pivot point of the season, because while it's currently Charleston ahead of the live table by a point, Blue City has 2 games in hand on the Battery. So if they win the head-to-head next week, pick up 3 points, they'd be 2 points clear with 2 games in hand. And for a team that would, at that point, be sitting at 16-4-3, you'd fancy them to make the most of those 2 games in hand and maybe run away with it a little bit. So the season, the Players' Shield, the road to the title in the playoffs could hinge on next week's game between Louisville and Charleston. We've still got this one, though, very much in the balance. Entering the 90th minute. Saw 5 goals in this one in a 20-minute span from the 46th to the 66th. It was 1-0 Louisville at half. They made it 2-0 right away in the second half. 3 unanswered in the span of 7 minutes from Sacramento. Put Republic ahead 3-2. Louisville equalized just 7 minutes after that in the 66th. It all adds up to 3-3. It all adds up to a point each as it stands. Will that change still in the 90th minute now? Amadou Dia. He earns a corner. Remember, if Sacramento could hold on for at least a point, they would tie the all-time USL Championship road unbeaten record of 12 unbeaten on the road. Dates back to October of last year. Four minutes of added time. the corner. He's in front. Wilson Harris was waiting for it. Amadou Dia keeps it alive. Drops it back to McFadden. Aiden McFadden. Header away from Timmer. Only as far as McCabe. And McCabe loops it in. Now it feels like Sacramento's just trying to get out of here with a draw. Louisville pressing for the 3 points. Ordonez. And well, the whistle was blown before the ball went out of play, so I'm not exactly sure what the restart is here. After this collision, Sergei Demyanchuk had the arm up for advantage. Just as the ball was almost set to go over the line, he blew it dead. You see the arms there of Niall McCabe. They're not sure right now what the call exactly is. The whistle blew for the 2 players that were down. Unclear if it's going to be a drop ball or back to the initial infraction here with the advantage. And that's what Kyle Adams, the captain, is trying to figure out here as well.
Both players leave their feet. The step up by Aiden McFadden. He's got hops, by the way. And to be fair, I know he creates contact with Luis Felipe, but his body actually gets pushed in by Sebastian Herrera. I'm not so sure as to whether or not Aiden McFadden still collides with Luis Felipe if Herrera doesn't give him that nudge.
I think what just happened right now, Louisville was set to take the corner. The assistant referee chimed in for exactly what I was saying. Sergei Demyanchuk, I don't know if he intended to, but he blew the whistle before the ball went out of play. So the assistant referee just notified him of that. So it's going to be a drop ball here instead of a Louisville corner. Louisville had it right. The assistant referee was spot on, though, and what it should have been versus what it actually is because of the mistake that was made.
With this delay, this is going to add a little bit more than those 4 minutes that you see in the upper left side of your screen. Extra 60, 90 seconds pushed onto it. They'll bring it back to center ice. Let's have a go.
Very rare that you see a line drawn with that magic spray on a drop ball, but that's how this one comes off. There we go. McCabe floats it up top. Loose in front. Still loose. Tosh. Back heel. Harris! The winner for Louisville!
There's a lot to unpack in this entire sequence, but number one, you have to be organized. Credit to Lou City, who were exactly that. Now McCabe recognizes he's got one-on-ones in the box, and all he has to do is keep this thing away from Danny Vitiello. Sean Tosh take a bow. Because after the first touch is won right there by Wilson Harris, Tosh could have been selfish. He could have gone for glory, and instead, absolute perfection on the cleverness of the back heel to Wilson Harris. As clean as he could be for his 14th on the season. Trailing only Nick Marcanic of the Charleston Battery. And what should be 3 points on the night secured.
Free kick for Louisville. 4 minutes come and gone. Well, they didn't get the corner they wanted out of that sequence, but the drop ball turned out to be just as effective. One last sub here for Louisville. Minutes gone now. Maybe some more added with the stoppages here. Is there still a way for Sacramento? Louisville seemed to think the whistle was going to blow as soon as Sacramento kicked it back off after the goal. They have been sadly mistaken, and now everybody forward for Sacramento.
If this results hold, the last time Sacramento Republic lost a road game, September 23rd, 2023, it was a 2-0 loss at Colorado Springs. Certainly not for lack of effort here tonight.
The look says it all for Mark Briggs. The roller coaster that tonight has been. 2-0 down, 3-2 up, 4-3 down. All we wait for is a final whistle as we've gotten nearly 3 minutes extra. Sent long by Damian Loss toward the corner. Doesn't quite get as far as he intended. He glanced at the watch. And now it's final. It was billed as the game of the year. It lived up to the hype. We may yet see it again in November, but for now, it's Lou City 4, Sacramento 3.
It certainly wasn't for lack of theatrics on the night. Lou City stormed out to the early lead. Sacramento Republic, quality character to prohibit any sort of offensive output after that man's goal in the 8th minute. 3 to start the second half after Lou City doubled their lead, and then this, the game winner. A debacle of sorts to set up the stage that was the cleverest of back heels from Sean Tosh. The top quality finish, his 14th of the season from Wilson Harris. Lou City back out in front of Sac, back atop the East, and back in the #1 spot for the Players' Shield race.
This game had it all. We hope you enjoyed it the same way that we did. Lou City continues its historic pace. Some records may fall if they keep it going this way down the stretch. They're home next week against Charleston, and Sacramento plays in the midweek against El Paso. You can catch that on CBS Sports Network. But for now, we say so long from Lynn Family Stadium. For the crew that makes this possible, the broadcast partner Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long. It's Louisville City FC with all the drama taking all 3 points home tonight. Good night, everybody.